Here we go.
Next question. You have 1 minute to question.
All right, let's see. How about Derek? Wasn't sure who I was going to ask. You know, we have, you can call it a movement with this one. Where am I now? We have a movement now where people want to understand more clearly how tax dollars are spent. And we talk about county council having the authority to look over tax dollars, look at these budgets. Our county council looks at them every year. There's a movement towards having actually the ability to change these budgets. But with the capital improvement board that's been created, to take the food and beverage money, $80 to $100 million over the next 20 years, all of a sudden now that money was approved by, used at the Coliseum by the Board of Commissioners, re-elected people. They decided to put the authority that $20 million or $200 million for 20 years under the authority of 7 unelected folks appointed by some elected people, the 6 choose the 7 to be the president automatically. And they cannot be removed for cause. So those tax dollars will be spent exclusively by the entity. And I pushed and pushed and pushed to try to get one of our appointments to be a city or county council member. Unsuccessfully. That was something I was not able to get done on the Board of Commissioners.
She gets it question.
The question is, we support having 4 elected people on the capital improvement board.
I mean, generally speaking, I think that speaks to an earlier question I was talking about, how we handle boards and commissions and divesting that responsibility. I agree that you can certainly get a lot more expertise through that process and bring people together that can make a decision. However, I also think you lose accountability. I think the primary thing we need to be focused on is transparency, which I think was part of the earlier part of your question, in terms of giving people the information they need to make a good decision and evaluate how their elected officials are doing. And 2, making sure that the people have a voice when the taxpayer dollars are being spent. Those are the critical values there. So, I mean, that'll be a fairly short answer. I think that ultimately, anytime we're spending money, we need to be sure that there's accountability involved. And I think that, you know, that's important. I don't think I would necessarily support that, because I wanted to have the broadest number of voices possible going into that, and the people that are responsible for making the fiscal decisions for our county be the ones who make the decisions.
Mr. Brown, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I'll try to do a little more brief. And I think about the concept earlier. I talked about these commissions and consultants. I think they do add value to any situation. But when it comes down to making decisions about how those tax dollars are spent, I think it's very important that you have the 4 elected people on that board. The mayor, the commissioner, the county council person, the city council person. You can then have 3 of what they want to call best and brightest. I guess that's mutually exclusive by some from those 4 electeds. So at that point, the 4 electeds can ultimately make the decision if it's a good use of the tax dollars or not. But they can also, the 3 best and brightest, can pick off one of those electeds, and you'll probably come up with the very best situation. But to all of a sudden create a scenario where you have this group of folks that just decides how these dollars are spent, so I think what you said was you would support the having the 4 electeds.
Well, I would ultimately, if you're framing the question that way, yes, but I prefer to rather have as much involvement as possible. We'll go and try to get more elected officials involved in the process, particularly with this council.
Mr. Ollinger, would you like to respond?
Sure. No appointed board, be it capital improvement board, library board, an appointed school board, to have the authority to spend taxpayers' money without oversight of county council or city council, depending on the jurisdiction. I don't care if there's an elected portion of that board, elected officials or city council. The elected officials are not still responsible for that specific job. I think it means direct oversight. I have no problem with the library board. We don't have a appointed school board. We're running with the airport. Spending money because you give them the budget from the county council.
bottom line is that ultimately, whenever you have interlocal agreements, you have multiple entities that are trying to manage joint funds. You're gonna have to come up with some mechanism to allow that to work. But removing that responsibility from the people that have the authority or the responsibility to oversee it, I think is a mistake. So ultimately, I believe jurisdictions should be able to enter into agreements if the county and the city think this is what they want to do and this is how they want to structure it. The taxpayers go along with it, that's fine. It's not the approach I take, but I respect the decision of the locality.
Thank you. Let's give them a hand.